Welcome. We're here at the Path Bike Shop. My name is Tawny. This is Brian, and these are the brand new Pivot Trailcats. You just came back from Pivot to check these out.
I did, yeah. Spent a couple days out there touring their facility and riding both of these bikes. So we've got SL and LT. The SL is 120 millimeters of travel on the back and 140 up front. LT is 135 and 150.
They're the same front and rear triangle, right?
They are. So they're the same, essentially the same frame. What changes between the two is upper linkage. The shock itself is a different eye-to-eye in stroke length. And then this bottom shock mount is actually removable and gets flipped the other direction to swap between SL and LT.
Now, that being said, you don't want to really buy these thinking of them as a modular unit, right?
Right. They're not intended to be swapped back and forth between travel. The parts are not going to be available separately. At least they're not intended to be available separately. Maybe in the future they will be, but the idea is to commit to the one that you want when you buy it.
Cool. Yeah, they look awesome. So our SL has the XX kit and our LT here has the XO kit, and both bikes are available in both colors. It really jumped out to me how this is the first bike that Pivot's done with frame storage.
It is, yep. Well, first mountain bike. They have a gravel bike.
Good point. It really jumped out to me the smoothness and ease of operation of the cover.
The cover is really, really solid and really easy to use. The lever is pretty large, so with gloved hands, it's completely simple to get it open. Pops off really easy. Has a clever little notch on the back of it for a tool strap, so you can have your multi-tool on the back. Stays in place and quiet real well. And then in the down tube, you have two pretty good sized storage bags. One's intended for like multi-tool and little bits, chain links, etc. The other's intended for tube, pump, whatever else you might need to put in there, CO2. So all told, like quite a bit of storage.
And that really allows you to use the whole down tube.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
And they've gone to great lengths to keep these bags as well as the cables and housing inside the down tube really quiet. It's very, I don't want to say it's noticeable on the trail because you don't notice it, but it's very noticeable how quiet the bike is.
Yeah, you were mentioning that this bike jumped out at you as a really quiet bike. And if someone hasn't ridden a really quiet bike today, they may not even know their bike isn't quiet, but it is really confidence inspiring and a good feeling to have a quiet
It's all
bike.
the little things of like no housing rattling in the down tube, no chain slap noise, just no noise at all, just very quiet. It's pretty great.
This kind of goes to some of the things you were telling me about what sets Pivot apart from other brands.
Yeah, I think for me, there's a few things about Pivot that stand out. DW Link is fantastic, like in terms of suspension systems. If I had to like choose one and commit to it for good, this is probably the one that I'd choose. But they go to great lengths to just nail all the little details that might normally get overlooked. Like the cable routing is always perfect and really well thought out. Like nothing kinks, nothing binds, nothing bows out and hits the cranks when the suspension's deep in its travel.
Or slaps the frame.
Yeah. Like the bottle cage placement's always perfect to where you can get the largest bottle in there without it hitting the shock. Just little things like that. Visiting their facility is really fun because you get to see what all that entails, like how involved that is to nail all those little details. In Pivot's case, a lot of these frames, they 3D print a full-size version of it beforehand just to like run housing and figure out what it does when it's cycling through its travel. And I haven't really seen that elsewhere, and it's pretty neat to see someone going to those lengths to get things right.
Yeah, and their warranty rate is maybe the lowest in the industry. It's very low.
Yeah.
Their customer service is exceptional. Like it's a family you really want to be part of.
Yep.
There's so many things I've been to the factory too, and there's a lot of little things that always jump out at me. I always learn something.
Yeah.
I love they have like a laser kind of alignment gauge to check if the frames are straight.
Oh yeah, that thing's cool.
Yeah, isn't it? And this isn't totally unique to Pivot, but their lugged carbon prototyping process is so rad.
That is really cool to see. Basically, they have the ability to draw carbon tubes in-house, machine lugs in-house, and build rideable carbon prototypes in-house, so they can make little changes throughout the development of a bike without having to like make a whole new mold to make a little change. They can make the thing in-house, go out and ride it, make little tweaks to it. That's really cool to see that whole process.
So who do you think this bike is for?
Honestly, I feel like both of these bikes are kind of perfect for our local trails. If you value suspension that feels really good and feels like more travel than it actually is, these are for you. If you like to climb and like to pedal for your objectives, these bikes pedal really well. They're a good weight for what they are.
I believe the XX build that we're looking at here with no pedals and the SL configuration is 29 pounds.
Yep, and that's with like pretty legitimate tires and new Maven brakes with 2 mil thick rotors. So like you're putting weight in the right places, basically.
We think if we replaced the Mavens with XTRs, we would drop, what, 3/4 of a pound, maybe a pound?
Yeah, 3/4 to a
Get
pound.
it down into that 28-pound range.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool that it has Mavens on it. It's definitely different. Like, you don't expect to see Mavens on a bike that says SL in the name, right?
Yeah. Yep.
But it's a commitment to being able to stop, which is pretty rad.
Yeah. And I think it's a general commitment to like what these bikes are capable of. Like these things can ride.
Totally. Yeah. A lot of bikes in this category have like the flex day design.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really cool to see a full linkage and fairly lightweight. Thanks for joining us this morning. These new Pivot Trailcats are here at the Path Bike Shop now.
Come on down and check them out.